Good evening and welcome to the City of Sunbury Council meeting. It is September 7th, 2022, 7:30 p.m. Would you please join me in a moment of silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance? Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Joe St. John.
Here.
Damon Capel.
Here.
Tim Goes.
Here.
Murray Neff.
Here.
John Grumney.
Here.
David Martin.
Here.
Cindy Cooper. Here. 7 present.
We had a meeting on August 31st of 2022. That was the third Wednesday of the month.
Fifth Wednesday of the month.
It was our third meeting of the month.
Long day.
I'm getting there. I'm still on vacation from mid-August. We had some minutes there. Would anybody like to make a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Martin, second by Councilman Neff. Discussion? Roll call.
David Martin.
Yes.
Murray Neff.
Yes.
Cindy Cooper. Yes. John Grumney.
Yes.
Joe St. John.
Yes.
Tim Goes.
Abstain.
Damon Capel.
Yes.
7 yeas.
Right, and we're on to the visitor section, and we do have one set of visitors. We have a family here. It's the Benners, and we're going to be discussing Childhood Cancer Awareness Month and a mayoral proclamation. But first, I'd like any one of the Benners, including Luke, if you could come up to the microphone. Maybe Kanda, if you would like to walk up with them. Aaron, you're welcome. The whole family's welcome. I'll put it that way. But I've invited them to come and speak with us today to call out, maybe tell a little bit of their story. And we're just very thankful you're here.
Well, thank you so much for having us. As Mayor St. John said, it is September, and in our family, September is for the kids because we are a pediatric cancer family. Luke, our middle son, was diagnosed with leukemia in 2013, so we're hitting our 10-year mark. He was 4 years old. Totally came out of left field. We were not expecting it. No cancer on either side of the family. But for 3.5 years, Luke endured treatment every day, every other day at Nationwide Children's. So he had over 13 spinal taps, 4 bone marrow biopsies, chemotherapy every day. It wasn't like, 1 round, 2 round. It was every day. He had 2 port placements because the first one malfunctioned. He lost his beautiful curly hair twice. He gained 46 pounds. He gained 27 pounds and lost 46 pounds over the course of those 3.5 years. He had 13 long hospital stays. And in that time, I was with him every day, pulling me away from the other 2 children that are at home. Our oldest son, Parker, was 5 at the time that he was diagnosed, and our youngest son, Grayson, was 1.5 years. Aaron had to work because they looked at one of us and said, which one of you isn't working anymore because you have to be here to take care of him. So it took our family from 2 incomes to 1. What we realized through that journey is you don't think about kids getting cancer because who wants to think about that? And so we are super happy that a whole entire month is dedicated to families like ours to bring awareness. And we're actually a very close-knit community. Once you are a cancer family, you're always a cancer family, and we do a lot of things together and participate together. The other thing that you should know is there's 400,000 children worldwide that are diagnosed with cancer every year. So it's not rare. And they're still using chemotherapy and drugs from the 1960s to treat kids. There is no pediatric cancer chemotherapy. It's all adult form. So every single chemotherapy that we've got, adults get as well. We know that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We want to make September the exact same way. You see pink everywhere. We want to see gold everywhere. So that's another reason that we're here today. And we are so appreciative that Towns like Sunbury do this all across Ohio this month. Many towns are not doing it, but we're very thankful for the opportunity that you have given us. Luke, even though he had all those things happen to him, he's 14 today. Today was his first day of freshman year at high school. And so when he was diagnosed, he wasn't even in school yet. So we've come a long way. He's on the varsity golf team, the varsity bowling team, and also does bowling. Oh, and the marching band, which is probably his favorite, and I forgot about it. So, do you want to say anything else? All right. So again, thank you so much. We're just really happy to be here that you guys are doing this. It goes a long way to bring awareness. So thank you.
Thank you. And Luke's joined by his dad, Aaron, his brother Parker, and brother Grayson. And Grayson was a year and a half when Luke was diagnosed, kind of all his life too. You know, it's a family journey. I had the opportunity to speak with the family for about 10 to 15 minutes earlier. I followed their Facebook page and looked through all the pictures, and there were a lot of smiles, but and what I mentioned is I'm sure there was a lot of times that were very trying on the family, and all that pulls you through is faith. And thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have a proclamation I'd like to give to the family. It's going to be tough. Proclamation declaring September 2022 Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in Sunbury. Whereas childhood cancer is the leading cause of death by disease in children, and whereas 1 in 285 children in the United States will be diagnosed with cancer by their 20th birthday, with an average age of diagnosis of 6 years old. And whereas 46 children per day are diagnosed with cancer in the United States, and approximately 40,000 children are receiving active cancer treatments at any given time. And whereas since the mid-1970s, there has been a 24% increase in the incidence of childhood cancer. Whereas 2/3 of childhood cancer patients will have chronic health conditions because of their treatment toxicity, with 1/4 being classified as severe to life-threatening. And whereas half of childhood cancer families rate the associated financial hardship due to out-of-pocket expenses as considerable to severe. And whereas in the last 20 years, only 4 new drugs have been approved by the FDA to specifically treat childhood cancer. And we celebrate and thank the thousands of researchers and healthcare professionals who work diligently every day to treat, care, and cure children with cancer. And whereas hundreds of nonprofit organizations at the local and national level are helping children with cancer and their families cope with the disease by providing educational, emotional, and financial support. And whereas despite these efforts, still too many children are affected by this deadly disease, and more must be done to raise awareness and find a cure. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Joe St. John, do hereby proclaim September 2022 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the city of Sunbury, and encourage all residents to support the cause, to find a cure, to cure childhood cancer that so deeply impacts families in every community across our country, including our own. Thank you.
Would you also get in with the whole thing?
Yeah. And city council.
Oh, sure.
Council, get in.
Come on.
Get on.
Yeah, come on up front. Come on. Around.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's coming out. We had to work on the pants tonight.
We can get it back.
Didn't find someone.
Yeah.
Oh, Gary, yeah, we got you all. All right, everybody smile, smile. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, one thing I forgot to mention is we did hit survivorship last year. So that means he is actually cured of cancer and hopefully fingers crossed it won't come back. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
You too. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for Thanks so much. I'm sure we learned that coming to awareness.
Well, Luke, if he gets a speeding ticket, call.
Just.
Yeah.
Did you do that? Joe, did you hear what he said? Does that go for the whole family?
Please pass.
I think they've earned it. Yeah. Oh,
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Gee whiz.
All right, we're on the committee reports. Tim Gibbs.
Yes, earlier this evening, we held the monthly parks meeting and the main item discussion took up most of the time was with the master plan discussion with regard to J.R. Smith Park. And we looked over and gave feedback to Mr. Hall about the first conceptual plan, his draft for what to do down there. It was nicely done. We have a splash pad and pavilion and a restroom and a nice trail, and going to work on maybe a dog park and a garden and maybe a court of some kind, maybe a pickleball court. So anyhow, he's going to take our feedback and drill it down for our next meeting next month, and we'll just keep working at that. And at some point, I think the next step will be to invite public feedback, input, town hall, and go from there. We also got an update on the other parks and the trails, and everything is basically on schedule.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Gibbs.
Mhm.
Mr. Grumney.
I'll let Mr. Capel give our update.
Right, Mr. Capel.
We had a busy services committee meeting earlier this evening. One of the first things we talked about was stormwater utility. So basically, this would provide a funding mechanism for stormwater infrastructure improvements as we continue to grow as a city. We're going to move forward looking at a feasibility study so that we can learn more about what that might look like. So more to come on that. We also discussed the opportunity to possibly roll out fiber in the community, moving towards potentially becoming a smart city. So very early discussion stages on that, but certainly there's a lot of benefits that go along with fiber, especially from a tech perspective and making the city look more attractive to different kinds of development. As the mayor pointed out, medical being one of the major ones that relies on that technology to be present. We also talked about the 2023 streets program, and Wes has said that they put together a $1.1 million proposal. Basically, hopefully we get OPWC funding this year. It's been a couple years since we have, but the way that it's going to be structured is with a $370,000 grant and a $130,000 loan. Apparently, you can get more points towards the OPWC financing if you include more than 25% of the grant total in the form of a loan. Also talked about traffic signals. The mayor pointed out that some of the signals seem to be a little out of sync. There's a little bit of some fast turns, some long turns with some of our signals. So we're asking CT to have a look at that. More to come on that in the future as well. And that is all I have.
You did.
Yes.
Excellent. Great progress. Mrs. Cooper.
No committee report.
All right, Mr. Martin.
Not tonight.
Okay, Mr. Neff.
Nothing to report.
Okay, excellent. We do have a events committee meeting coming up, I believe,
Mhm.
next week.
The 14th, I think.
Yeah, next week.
Yep.
Sounds great. All right, police report. Anything, no police report tonight?
Yeah.
Can I get a little police report? I've got a couple things.
Obviously, the chief's under weather, so I'm stepping in there, just to elaborate on a couple of things I think he's already presented in the past. The cameras, the GTAC cameras and the cruisers, which obviously you have now cameras in car as well as on body. PAR and GTAC were here last week and doing installations. And just like anything else, there's some bugs that's got to be worked out. Trigger wires and stuff. PAR's coming in tomorrow to finish a couple of those things up for us. The Polaris Ranger is due for, it's finally reached its mark for its break-in service, so we'll be taking it back over here soon to get that taken care of. Ace is going back in for his refresher course and should be certified, I believe, September 26th. So he should be back out on the street. Cruiser wise, we're still trying to make do with what we have as far as maintenance and upkeep on the current cruisers. There's still no forecast for any changes in our cruisers, and the availability of them still chips, flex capacitors, whatever you call them. The problem. So,
Back to the future.
yeah, so that's kind of where we're at for an overall. Any questions that I can answer?
Hey, I just wanted to say, thanks to DC Wade and the staff last week. We had the chief out last week on vacation. I know you were running, was it last week?
Yes.
Seems like it was a while ago, but
Yeah.
you were running all over the place, from 7 a.m. to 8 and 9 p.m. at night. And,
Yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you. I know you had a tough week with the camera install.
Staff. I mean, some of you have heard, we've had some car break-ins and different things around town. We all should be doing a phenomenal job. Director of patrol, as you can see, traffic, we've got issued at 3637, State 61. So our traffic patterns have changed. We've had some direct enforcement on Columbus, Miller, a few other areas where we've issued some citations and plenty of warnings, but it's getting to the point now where some folks are traveling at a higher rate. So we're trying to help mitigate that issue. Traffic is always going to be an issue as we work through it. Other than that, I think that's all we got from the police department.
I've gotten a lot of positive feedback at the football games, the home football games on the Polaris Ranger being out there, and with the light bar on it, looks really good at night, helping direct traffic and things. So
It's been amazing how much that we realize that that's a useful tool for us.
I agree.
So thank you.
I want to also say thanks to the VFW and it was the Eagles that donated cash to assist with that. I think we're still looking to maybe formally present them with something.
Yes.
Great, excellent. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we're on to the administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Given it's been a week, I did not provide you with a written report, but I would like to at least verbally let you know. This week, we will be tending a job offer for an individual for our wastewater treatment plant. We'll be back up to 4 people, which is good. And we're also going to be tending an offer to our community engagement person, formerly known as Olivia. And thanks to Daryl and Dana, they did kind of the job description, first round of interviews. Kathy and I sat in on the second round, and I think we've got 2 pretty decent candidates, very good candidates that we're going to make offers to. And hopefully in a couple of weeks, they'll be starting.
Deal.
Great.
And if you got any questions, I'm here.
I was joking when I said 100% at wastewater, but is that 100% or do we have open positions?
I think on the table of organization, I think we have 5.
Okay.
It would be ideal if we could get another person just from a turnover continuity process, but I think Dale will be very happy to have 4 people, including himself in the operation. So
4 is like a 5-year high. So you're not 5 is like the maximum.
Been a little bit.
This is the highest it's ever
don't jinx it now.
That's great. I'm excited for Dale and you.
Mhm.
I did have one question. Did you want to cover anything briefly on the EMA, EMS?
Oh, yeah. It'll be coming forward to you at the next meeting. We had had discussions with the Emergency Management Agency about their board composition and the fact that Sunbury has become a city. And asking them if we could have some representation on that important board. They've been receptive to that idea. At your next meeting, there'll be a revised agreement with EMA that I think they have to have a majority of the political jurisdictions in the area approve. But it would allow, they're expanding their board to 11 people, which right now I guess they have 10, and it ends up, sometimes they end up in a deadlock vote. So they're going to have an odd number. They would, the proposal is to add a representative from Sunbury and wisely upon their part, add a representative from the public health sector. They haven't had a public health sector person on their board, and they've seen the value of that given what we've endured for the last 2.5 years with communicable diseases. So, and that will be on your agenda at the next meeting.
I think we got that communication like earlier today, or we
Yeah.
would have possibly been able to bring that forward. It's great news. Engineers report, Mr. Hall, you got a steak sandwich here. Pretty meaty.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few updates. We've covered most of the public projects already. The one I will note, the Reservoirs Park, we're about to start design on that in accordance with the grant that was awarded by ODNR. Moving on to private development, plenty of activity there. DRK property continues to move on. Lots of work going on for the ravines at Meadow Ridge. Granville Street multifamily developments on track for September. Planning Commission rezoning application will be heard. Magnolia Park, continue to work with Pulte Homes. That's a subdivision right by the middle school. We'll continue to work with them on some final things associated with that development. Rolling Hills underground for sections 2 or 3 is just about complete. They'll be moving towards paving a section 2 here shortly. Price Pond section 1 continues in full swing. We have a meeting there tomorrow on site to actually take a look at a section of that trail.
Oh, good.
Things continue to move along there. Eagle Creek, just an update there. The preliminary plat and plan was conditionally approved at the 8/22 Planning Commission meeting. So next steps on that one is the final construction drawings are being prepared right now, and we'll be reviewing those and working with the developer's engineer. That's all I have. Thank you. Any questions?
Excellent. Any questions for Mr. Hall? All right, excellent. We're on to resolutions, of which we have one. Resolution number 2022.06, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor and declaring an emergency. Would anyone like to speak to this?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to bring to your attention that the resolution verbiage in your packet is incorrect. I did some updates after a conversation with Mr. Bream, and I have thought I had made the corrections. The great thing about working with Microsoft 365, Office 365, is you never have to save anything.
Right.
And since I was saving this to the F drive, I was not saving because I was accustomed to not doing so. So my mistake, and I do apologize. So it will have to be amended tonight through your reading, and I can go through those very minor changes right now. The declaring an emergency language should be struck.
Okay.
And after in section 1, it should read, it should read, at the very end of section 1, it should read, this resolution shall take effect for the next succeeding fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2023. Do you want me to read that again slower? No, okay. And the reason for that verbiage is because the county auditor needs to have a budget year listed in the resolution. And finally, the wherefore at the very end of the resolution should read, this resolution shall take effect from and after the earliest time permitted by law.
Need a motion and a second to accept those changes?
I can make that motion.
I'll second.
We got a second by Mr. Ghost. Discussion? Roll call?
Joe St. John.
Yes.
Tim Goes,
Yes.
Damon Capel.
Yes.
Maureen Neff,
Yes.
John Grumney,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper,
Yes.
David Martin,
Yes.
7 yeas.
And since we've struck the emergency, from what I understand, we've completed the first reading and now we're looking for no action right now. Is that correct? All right.
Yeah, that's fine. It can be passed during the next council meeting. That would be fine and fit within the timeline for the county.
Okay, so you would expect a suspension of the rules, but no emergency?
It does not have to be passed by emergency. As far as suspension of the rules, I'm not sure.
We'll suspend the rules at the next one and pass it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sounds good. Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, Dana. All right, we're on the ordinances. Ordinance number 2021.49, still tabled, but not for long.
Getting close.
Ordinance number 2022.36. This is a third reading, and ordinance revising development impact fee amounts for police and municipal facilities, adopting new development impact fees for parks and recreation facilities and road facilities, and other general updates to the procedures for the imposition, calculation, collection, expenditure, and administration of development impact fees to be imposed on new development, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
Motion on ordinance 2022.36.
Motion by Mr. Martin,
Second.
second by Mr. Capel. Discussion. Roll call.
David Martin,
Yes.
Damon Capel,
Yes.
Tim Goes,
Yes.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
Maureen Neff,
Yes.
John Grumney,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper,
Yes.
7 yeas.
Motion passes unanimously. Second readings, none. First readings, ordinance number 2022.37, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2022.20, amending building, engineering, and zoning for the city of Sunbury, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. Right.
That's can be a first reading. We will need to pass that at the next meeting. We are transitioning to becoming a sub-department of the county of Delaware when it comes to our inspection services. So we have to reference their fees. Our ordinance right now has our fees, but really for a lot of those services, they will be charging their fees, and that's what a lot of these changes are. We've also implemented some fees that we will have now that will be different from what we had before, because we will strictly be in an administrative capacity and assisting them in the building application and fees process. And so there are some changes there. Feel free to look at those between now and next meeting and direct any questions to myself or Steve.
And I'm sorry to even be asking this question, and it's not meant to be a criticism, but the mayor did not use the word fees when he read it. He said zoning for. And so does it need to be read with all the words in it?
I'd like to amend it, maybe.
We'll just reflect the fact that it should have been fees.
And Mr. Martin asked me earlier, does a sub-department of the county mean that we're not a sovereign entity or we aren't governed by home rule? I think you asked that question earlier. Is that correct? Maybe that wasn't you.
It wasn't me.
Okay, all right, good deal. All right, so
We're not giving up our home rule rights. There's a process available under the laws of the state of Ohio that allow smaller cities like us to be able to piggyback on our larger county seats or larger cities for those services. It would be really tough for Sunbury to have its own full service building department. We're just not doing it. But those services are available through the county. This has been a long process. Steve's been involved with conversations with them over many, many months, investigating what we need to do. You pass legislation, enabling legislation that will allow us to do it. The effective date's coming up in October. We're just trying to catch up with the money side of it with this fee ordinance.
All right, we're on to new and unfinished business. Mr. Neff.
Nothing.
Mr. Martin.
Is there a fallen heroes ceremony this weekend?
I asked myself the same question and I'm not aware of one being held. If there is, I have not been invited to it.
For September 11th.
Yes. Yeah, I asked myself the same question. I'm gonna reach out to.
Ever since it's open, there's been one on the weekend closest to September 11th every year. And this year, the 11th is on the weekend. So
Who organizes that usually?
The Ohio Fallen Heroes Memorial.
VFW, yeah.
Okay.
VFW. Okay. I have not heard anything.
I haven't either.
Because they usually reach out to the police and the fire department.
Yeah.
For, to be there, and I hadn't heard anything about it, so
I'll find out.
thanks.
Yep. I'll find out and make sure the council gets that information. I'll ask
Thank you.
Steve to
Thank you.
communicate.
Yeah, forgot all about that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Martin. Any other new or unfinished
So
business?
that'll cover it.
All right, Mrs. Cooper.
Yes, this weekend, just so you're aware, there's the Big Walnut Travel Baseball League is having a home run derby fundraiser on Saturday, September 10th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
So thank you.
Where's that located?
I want,
Where are the fields?
I texted Mr. Sherman, I want to say, Beewee?
I think it's.
Oh, you know what? It's probably Beewee because
I think it is.
the youth baseball games all got canceled.
I think. it
But
is.
so I don't know. I was thinking it was at the middle school, but I know it's affecting baseball. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I texted Mr. Sherman, but he didn't text back.
I can find out. All right, Mr.
Add
Captain.
that to your memo,
Nothing.
will you?
Got it. Mr. Grimm? Mr. Goes?
Nothing this evening.
All right. Just a couple things. One thing, actually, Intel groundbreaking this Friday.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say from a logistics perspective, avoid New Albany and Licking County and anywhere south of Sunbury. That's just for, so you don't get involved in that traffic pattern. Second of all, this is a really exciting time for our community. I don't think we've talked enough publicly about what this means for the broader community and what it can mean in terms of potential and job growth and the right type of job growth. I think the impact fee legislation tonight, really proud of the work that staff's done, working with legal counsel, outside counsel, communicating with the development community. And I think we've got a lot of very forward positive momentum going into this. And we've got a really sound council and staff, and we're heading in the right direction. I just want to say thank you. I don't tell you enough. I know how much work you guys do outside of this chamber and interacting with your neighbors, being good neighbors, being good people, listening more than you talk. And that means a lot. So thank you very much.
I checked and it's being held at the middle school.
Okay,
That's fine.
good deal. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. With that said, anything else from staff? All right. Look at that.
Did you want to go over the wastewater treatment plant task order?
I'm
That
sorry,
was on-
Wes.
That's
Yes, we do.
all right. Daryl reminded me. Thank you, Daryl.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Still
Thank you, Mr. Hall. How would you like to handle this? I can do it in a sentence or two, or if you want to tell them everything.
We've been over it several times already, so I'm glad to go over it again. If there's any questions, we're ready to move forward with combining what was phase 0, the current contract, phase 1 and 2, to upgrade the plant to 2 million gallons a day. So.
We're at 1 million, round numbers. We're at 1 million. We're going to 2. There was this 3-step process. I asked Wes to evaluate if we can do it in 2. We're already working on 1. This is kind of getting the ball rolling on phase 2 and doing it all at once. It'll still take much longer than any of us want it to. Let's be honest.
Long process, yes.
But we will have that official capacity in something like 18 months.
Not quite.
It's on record.
Close, yeah. A little bit longer.
Sounds good.
Yeah, with very few contingencies, right?
Right, and we've spelled out the scope, schedule, budget, and the task order. We've been through all that.
Thanks for amending that with some earlier deliverables. I do appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Thank you. All right. I think we're to the point where we need a motion and a vote to press forward with this. Is that correct? All right. Would anybody like to make a motion to press forward to double our wastewater treatment plant capacity.
I'll make that motion.
All right, we've got Mr. Kaplan,
Second.
second by Mr. Neff. Discussion? Roll call.
Damon Capel,
Yes.
Marie Neff,
Yes.
Tim Ghost,
Yes.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
John Grumney,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper,
Yes.
Dave Martin,
Yes.
7 yeas.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Second by Mr. Ghost. Discussion? Roll call.
David Martin,
Yes.
Tim Ghost,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper,
Yes.
John Grumney,
Yes.
Marie Neff,
Yes.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
Damon Capel.
Yes.
Dave, you get the prettiest porch award.
Yes.
What's that?
Agree.